Atascosa Borderlands brings together over 10,000 medium format film photographs, along with about 1,200 botanical specimens. And the idea is to create a living archive that's dedicated to this area that we refer to as the Atascosa Highlands, which is a series of mountain ranges that run between Nogales to the east and the town of Sassabee to the west.
We're attempting to collect physical specimens of every or almost every species that occurs out here, both native and non-native. And of course, it's nice to focus on really beautiful native plants, but a non-native plant like this aster growing out of this disturbed area close to the border wall access road is really interesting because these sites of disturbance become vectors for non-native and potentially invasive plants to come into this landscape, and they act as ground zero for the spread of these non-native plants that will ripple out into the surrounding landscape.
Floristic surveys are really useful, but one of the things that often gets left out of these types of studies is why the ecology is the way that we see it today. Oftentimes it ignores that human element that has played an integral role in shaping that ecology. And when you bring in that human element and combine that with the data that you're able to extract from a botanical checklist, you really get a clearer picture of how specific land management practices are creating that ecology that you're looking at.
A major part of this project is the oral history interviews that we've conducted.
And in those days, of course, the government didn't really have much of a problem with the, immigration problems. People came and went as they pleased.
There's always been a lot of energy and people and plants and animals passing through this area. And to me, it's becoming less of the borderlands than it is the heartland of the Southwest and this part of Mexico, because it's where everything's converging. It's the place where the jaguar and the black bear share the same trail.
Then it wasn't until I got out here that I began to realize the history that was out here that I was not aware of before. I was not taught anything in school about the Buffalo Soldiers.
All of those oral history excerpts are brought together with original field recordings and instrumentation by musicians Gus Tomizuka and Patricio Coronado. And it's really this immersive sound experience where we're taking you into this space.
So these are the plants we're looking for. It's a Coryphantha recurvata, the Santa Cruz beehive cactus. It's a state-listed rare plant, and in the United States, it's only known in any numbers from the Atascosa Highlands. They're really healthy, but they're right above this area where there's all of this erosion from the border wall construction that's really changed the hydrology of this area. Who knows what the fate of these plants will be as the erosion continues to pick up on these rock faces that they grow in. These are just some of the most beautiful ones I've ever seen up there.
In a single afternoon, you could wipe out that entire genetic lineage, and once that's gone, you can't get it back. So we should think very carefully about how we interact with these landscapes and how one day can undo millennia of evolution and adaptation in these plant species.
This body of work, because of its collaborative, transdisciplinary scope, is accessible to so many more people than it would have been had it just be a flora or a body of documentary photography. What we have in this project is an opportunity to really bring together people from very divergent, different backgrounds around the same body of work, to have conversations with people that they might not otherwise have, and to also exchange information across fields in a way that just in our particular time and place feels so important.
When you're looking at these landscapes, they are very complex. They're spaces of natural beauty. They're also spaces where people die on a weekly or even daily basis because they're forced into those environments. And so they really are complex because I can choose to go there. Other people are forced to go there. This is a national forest. We think of national forests as these incredible recreational sites or sites of natural beauty. And the fact that this landscape is managed by our federal government is both the thing that has preserved, in many ways, this ecological beauty. And yet, in an era of increasing border militarization, it is also possibly the greatest threat to the continued biodiversity of these environments.
A lot of times when we see regions like the Atascosa Highlands represented, at least within a photographic context, it's oftentimes through coverage in traditional news media outlets. And I think with this project, we've just had an opportunity to go so much deeper in a way that just quite frankly, a traditional news outlet just wouldn't have the access or ability to do. And I think that richness is a richness that is much more reflective of this physical area in real life.